Half of the Lost Continent area of Islands of Adventure has already been flattened. The Sindbad Stunt Show Theater is gone, along with the Mystic Fountain and more. Demolition has already moved on to the other half now, with Poseidon's Trident knocked over and smashed. Universal Orlando says that this area is being prepared for a new land in the future, but what will it be and how long will it take? Let's check in on work happening around the Lost Continent in today's news update.
Just over the bridge from Seuss Landing, we are swept into a mysterious world.
Greetings, travelers. I am Merlin. Welcome to the Lost Continent. Yes, this is a mysterious land, filled with romance and adventure. But you need not believe me. Simply ask the fountain. Sindbad, the sailor, brave hero of one of history's most famous legends. Bury this legendary splendor for all eternity.
In the 3 months since work walls first went up around the area, all of the former theater for the 8th voyage of Sindbad has been completely demolished, along with some of the surrounding buildings and structures. All that remains in this area, on this side of the guest pathway, are the restrooms and its connected first aid. After the Sindbad Theater was carefully leveled, the arch that separated it from the rest of the land followed suit. The All Hallows Eve retail space was demolished next. And finally, just days after closing, the Desert Kebab House quick service location was also demolished. Thanks to aerial photography by BioReconstruct, we can see that all that remains visible in the area where the Sindbad Theater once stood are some deep foundations in the center of the plot. These deep foundations were for a pool where for the finale of the show, a stunt performer would be lit on fire and perform a high fall into the water. Now that pit is filled with mud and debris from the months-long deconstruction of the stage. Another element that was completely removed from this area was the Mystic Fountain. Fans have been hopeful that this beloved interactive fountain could find a second life and be transplanted elsewhere on property. While the fountain itself was, for the most part, demolished, it's interesting to note that a key element was preserved before it was pulverized. The face of the Mystic Fountain was carefully removed prior to its demolition. Over the course of several days, the plumbing from within the fountain was carefully ripped out as well. We can see the preserved face from the fountain lying on the ground here, before the fountain was ultimately destroyed. In what may be a case of the ship of Theseus, perhaps this face could be transplanted onto a new fountain somewhere else. Could we see a new one built in Port of Entry at this park, or perhaps added to Celestial Park in Epic Universe? Or is it more likely that this face has been retained for posterity, and can someday in the future be seen as part of a museum exhibit like the original Little Boo, which can currently be found on display at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia? The final element to be removed from this side of the Lost Continent was the tower at the back corner closest to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade. This tower, while connected to the Sindbad Theater, was themed to match the visual theming style of the Hogsmeade train station, as it was visible from that side of the park. It too has now been removed, and the base of this former tower is still in place, with steps seen here leading to its foundation. With major demolition complete at the top half of the Lost Continent, work is making its way down to the front portions. The first thing to be removed here was the tall Trident statue in front of Poseidon's Fury. Here is how the Trident appeared just a few days prior to its removal, and here is how it looked the morning after. As if it had been cut down like a tree by a lumberjack, the entire arm and trident can be seen here smashed into 1,000 pieces. The steel armature can be spotted exposed, exploded out from the inside of the structure, seemingly upon impact. In the couple weeks that have passed since this moment, it appears that most of the trident's shattered remains have been cleaned up. Some of the base of the framing is still visible, as well as this single tip here. A digger is shown here devouring the last pieces of rock from the immediate area. Other statue elements in the courtyard still remain, like the feet that are closer to the building and the head that's closer to the pathway. Select sections of concrete have been removed in certain locations though, but the Poseidon's Fury building itself remains intact. It took several weeks for crews to remove all of the wiring and pipes from the Sindbad Theater before it could be demolished, most notably the gas lines that were used for pyro effects. Perhaps crews are awaiting the same for this structure now before it can be demolished. It is not known if the entire Poseidon's Fury building will be flattened the way that Sindbad's theater was. Permits indicate that the structure will at very least be partially demolished, if not completely. The same type of safety fencing that was erected around the theater has also been installed around Poseidon's ahead of work. All of the trees along the left side of the Poseidon courtyard area have been removed, but trees that are blocking the area as seen from Zeus Landing have remained. The gift shop in front of this area is closed, but has not yet been demolished. Across from Poseidon's Fury, the Mythos restaurant has officially been announced to remain open to guests throughout the remainder of 2026. It will close permanently in 2027. It is possible that all of the structures on the same side of the guest pathway as Mythos may be able to remain open as long as Mythos is as well. This includes things like the snack stand, Fire Eater's Grill, and a small retail location that's currently offering How to Train Your Dragon merchandise. The meet and greets that were happening in front of a backstage access gate have ended for the Lost Continent. The characters that could be seen here have found a new home near the entrance to DreamWorks Land next door at Universal Studios Florida. The backstage access road itself was mentioned in the land's initial demolition permit, so we are unsure if it will be remaining or rerouted in some way. With Sindbad's theater removed already, it's possible that we could see prep work on its replacement begin before Mythos is even closed next year. The leading rumor for what will be replacing the Lost Continent continues to be Pokemon. Earlier rumors for The Legend of Zelda taking over the area have faded after talk of it possibly going to Epic Universe instead took over. However, even those rumors have died down now that we know that Potter and Dark Universe will be getting new rides at Epic Universe first, thanks to official permit information. As to when we may see a new land open, whether Pokemon or something else, we still have quite a bit of demolition to complete. The open-air Sindbad Theater will be the easiest of the land's main 3 structures to remove. Expiration dates for the current demolition permits filed with the City of Orlando range from October of this year to February of 2027. It's likely that demolition of the attractions will be completed by the end of this year, with demo work for Mythos to begin very early next year. One thing we know for sure now is that permits have finally confirmed this to be known as Project 555. So far, all permits for this project have been related to the demolition and land clearing, and none of them seem to be for the new land that will eventually take over the area. If they wanted to, they could start developing the replacement very soon. After all, they've already demolished half of the Lost Continent in just a matter of weeks, and carted it all off like it was nothing. Also happening in Islands of Adventure, the Jurassic Park River Adventure has been closed since January for a large refurbishment and isn't set to reopen until November 20th of this year. Universal Orlando hasn't revealed any details for the attraction's closure, only saying it is closed for planned maintenance. It's not expected that the ride will be converted to Jurassic World like the one in Hollywood. Instead, the leading theory has been it being refreshed for major updates to the ride system and improved dinosaur animatronics. The latest aerial views show how this first scene is remaining intact, with an updated Ultrasaur animatronic, and it is not being converted to the screen-based Mosasaur scene from Hollywood. A new, clean white armature has been installed for the neck of this Ultrasaur animated figure. The skin was removed over a month ago, but these bright white elements are new. Nearby, somewhat further down the river, which is currently drained in this part of the ride, the baby Stegosaurus has been receiving work as well. The adult Stegosaur, which is usually located directly across from the baby, appears to be missing at this time. Work is happening on exterior walls near here, as well as on the pumps for the ride itself. The final splashdown for the ride still has water, which is currently green while work continues. A single boat can be seen on the path near here, likely for testing purposes. A few additional boats can be found backstage near the attraction. The majority of the ride's boats can be found staged in a lot located across the street from Epic Universe. This is also where the track for Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is being stored before being installed at Universal Studios Florida. This week, the tallest point for Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift was topped off. The remaining 2 pieces of twisted track for the top of this 170-foot tall vertical spike was ceremoniously installed on the morning of Wednesday, July 1st. Flags were added temporarily as part of the topping off ceremony, including one with the logo for 25 years of Fast and Furious. Replacing the former Hollywood Rip Ride rocket, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is set to open in 2027 at Universal Studios Florida. Crews have been working fast to install track not only along the City Walk facing side, but now starting in the central areas of the ride as well. The work walls for the ride have been updated with new posters showing all 4 of the cars that will act as the coaster cars for the attraction. They are the same designs as the cars for the first iteration of the ride, opening soon at Universal Studios Hollywood. The Hollywood version has seen team member previews this week, and we now have confirmation that the ride will have onboard audio, but not music. Instead, the cars will have realistic car engine sounds, which accurately match the real-life cars that they're modeled after, so each of them will have their own sound effects. That's all for now, but subscribe to never miss an update on these projects around Universal and more. A big thanks to BioReconstruct for the amazing aerial views. You can follow him on social media and YouTube for more theme park photography. Join our Patreon for behind-the-scenes posts, your name in the credits, and more. Patreon.com/themeparkstop. Thanks for watching. See you next time.